peeps. I know we're all to back to front and all over the place this week. Let me just adjust this a wee bit. Yes, tonight we're back to healing, and I do know it's Friday and not Wednesday, although I must admit this week I've been all at sixes and sevens and trying to figure out what is and what isn't working energy-wise. You know, we're in the middle of a massive energy shift, where not only do we have the massive energy shift that's happening, hi Gemma, we actually have new moon energy that's coming in very shortly next week, but we're also, hi Andrew, hi Vicky, hi Diane, we're also in the middle of a major sunstorm, and it's like, oh, so you may be wondering why of this last few days, hey babe, that you're a little bit out of sorts, a little bit grumpy, a little bit tired, a little bit headachy, a little bit left of center, almost like you've been hit for six. Hi, Jem. And you really can't figure out where you are emotionally. It's like being stuck in a tumble dryer of emotions and then trying to have to figure it out. And it can be a pretty wild ride, let me tell you. So if you guys have had this kind of, you know, emotional stuff popping up, and hi Belinda, and not knowing where it's coming from and what you need to do with it, back the bus up a bit and have a look at what is happening. Hi Diane. It's all this sunstorm business. You know, I think it's amazing. Technology has finally caught up with our ancestors. The ancestors were aware of the effects, not only did the weather, but the moon, the sun, the stars, the changing patterns had on our emotional lives. But it's taken science to actually prove that to us and show us, yeah, this is happening. We can measure what's happening on the sun, and we can measure that has a really massive impact on the human body and the human cells and our very DNA, because we are all linked. And that means we're linked to the sun. And when the sun has a hissy fit, it upsets our balance. Does that make sense to you guys? Or just eat chocolate. Yeah, it's like with this celiac babe, it's very hard to find chocolate one can eat. But I have discovered a box of Quality Street goes down very well. Hi, babe. Okay, so where are we going tonight? We're going to have a look at healing. Now, because the sun is interfering with a lot of things and the energy cycles are all over the place, we need to be gentle with ourselves. You know, the biggest thing with healing is emotion. The biggest thing with becoming unwell is emotion. And the biggest thing that is our biggest help and guide is emotion. Let's break that up. Emotion. Energy in motion. Energy continually moves. It's continually changing. It's continually shifting, shivering, wham bang, and it's all energy. The energy of the sun at the moment is throwing a hissy fit, spit, spit, spit. That is reflected in the orbit of our earth patterns, and of our human patterns. The moon is dark moon at the moment, so it's coming up to a time of introspection, of looking within, or where we have a look at inside ourselves, whether we want to or not. You know, things activate deep emotional stuff at this time. I must truly say this has been an incredibly emotional week for me. Highs, lows, flat out, high. It's been incredibly amazing, incredibly growth, because I've had to stop and look and go, oh, where did I set that energy in motion? And if I set that energy in motion, how can I change its path? How can I work with shifting it? And healing is all about energy in motion. Healing's about, I guess, recognizing the energy that's happening at the moment, but it's also about recognizing the energy of change. I was having a chat with one of my group the other night, and she works in, what do you call it? My brain stopped. I hate it when I lose words. She works in ED, but in coronary care, emergency coronary care. What do you call that? When they're not, it'll come to me. Anyway, it's when you're actually, crisis care. And we were discussing transplants. And there's a study being done that if people make peace with the heart or the lung or whatever it is they are releasing, they've done this study that actually proves that if they do like even a ceremony or a release of what they're letting go of, and then do a welcoming for the new part and a thank you for where it came from and a blessing, the people who perform these ceremonies, connections, had less rejection, less infection, and fared extremely well compared to those who just went through the medical process. And, thinking about this, I thought, what a wonderful way to do things. Hi, Annie. What an amazing way to work with a healing energy, to set energy in motion. Now, as most of you know, I'm off next Friday to have a knee joint removed and another one put in there. The last one did not go well, but I came to the understanding that I've cursed the thing for 2.5 years. No wonder the poor love doesn't work. It's like, would you work if I cursed you 2.5 years? So I've actually started welcoming it, being thankful for it, giving it the energy that it needs to actually become interconnected, to become part of me. And I've actually begun a ceremony of releasing what's left of the last knee joint, and thanking it for its years of service. And I'm actually putting out there a welcome for the new one. So we'll see the difference. When I'm told of people that they've done surveys or whatever, I put them in motion and see how they work for me. And so far, this one's not too bad. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Maria. I'm actually walking a little better. Yes, I've still got the Parkinson's shuffle, but we're working on that. Now, once we realize energy is motion and energy is eternally in motion, we can actually work with the healing pattern. We can actually work with healing ourselves. Now, in healing and working with healing ourselves, hi Maria, I actually discovered, well, it's been there all the time. What if we create our inner doctor, our inner specialist? How many times are we told to listen to our body, to work with our body, to go with it? And then you go, but how? We are trained from birth that we need specialist doctors for this and specialist doctors for that. And so off we happily trot and chat and take advice from a specialist, which is fantastic, all good. Please do not stop going to your doctors or your specialist, but find a way to make contact with the one specialist who knows you more than anyone, and that's yourself. You're not on a conscious awareness, it's a subconscious reaction. So what we're going to do is an exercise to actually connect with the self and allow the body to show us where we need to work, where we need to put the energy in motion, where we need to shift energy. Emotions themselves cause an energetic reaction within our body. Now that energetic reaction is there no matter what the emotion is. If the emotion is anger, if the emotion is love, if the emotion is frustration, if the emotion is, it doesn't matter what the emotion is. It has a reflex reaction within our body. Bitterness. How many times have we seen people allow something that's happened in their lives to fester, to grow. And we literally, when things affects grief, definitely, Annie, grief kills your heart. Grief sits in your heart. Many people literally die of a broken heart, not very long after a long lifetime partner's passed. But how many times have we heard, things festering? What festers? Boils festers. Growth festers. Cancer festers. How many times do we dwell on something? We get so caught up in it, and in reality, we can't change it. It's just that the situation just tears us apart, or we allow it to. Now, I've tried to figure out what I've allowed in my life, where my emotions have gone that have caused me to be where I am. Yes, there's many times anger does fester, darling, really badly. And there has been times, many, many times in my life, and there still are, when I don't stand for what I believe in, when I back down and let everybody else do what they need to do, or say what they need to say, or actually treat me the way they feel they can. Many times I've let that happen, knowingly let it happen. So it's manifested in an inability to stand. But that's changing. That's changing. I'm shifting that energy. I'm not becoming deeply involved. Yep, I don't stand up to people, but I'm doing it in a different way. Because I don't stand up to them now, the energy's gone. I release it. It's gone immediately. Sometimes it's in a massive breakdown. And like I said about holding ground, I allow someone to hold space for me so that I broke down completely and let everything out. And many times I hold space for people and allow them to go through that emotional response. I used to believe that if I loved somebody and if I had a connection, then they literally must love me back. And so went through that incredible rejection. And it took me many years to come through that rejection. And what I've discovered now is that I don't need to do that great emotional drama. I need to allow someone to hold ground, to hold space for me. I need to trust the person holding space that I can just break down. And it's not, listen to the word breakdown. I'm breaking down the results. I'm breaking down what the reaction. And when you break something down into little bits, let it go, it's gone. It doesn't have a place. Grief doesn't settle in your heart. Anger doesn't settle in your liver or your gut. Being not supported doesn't settle in your back. By allowing yourself to release, to break it down, to actually go through that emotion, to be in that emotion, to live it, and then to turn it around, that healing.